A massive dip in the jet stream is bringing a relentless lake effect snow event and breaking some daily records along the way. In this video, we're going to discuss this northwest flow staying alive and well really for the rest of the week, keeping that colder temperatures alive for the central and eastern 2/3 of the US. You can see the jet stream on the North American view, that massive buckle. So that's bringing some colder anomalies into the Great Lakes, a good part of the Northeast, all the way down into the Tennessee Valley. In fact, they even had some freeze warnings this morning all the way down into Gainesville, Florida. Yes, those 30 temperatures reached all the way down into the deep south. And that's just the beginning of what things to come, which could be several areas of colder air that's going to be funneling into that same region. And that's going to continue along with the lake effect snow. This is the last 3 days of some of these impressive snowfall totals. In fact, we're topping out at 65 inches, folks. That is over 5 feet of snow and counting up there into New York there. You can see the lake effect snow bands. We saw the Buffalo game last night. That was definitely an exciting game to watch. That snow, that lake effect snow, went over Orchard Park right at game time. They already had 27 inches before game time, and then it snowed, of course, the entire game. And there's going to be another band that comes through today, bringing another foot, if not almost 2 feet, in some isolated spots. So this is not done yet, and it could be another round coming in on Thursday and Friday. This morning you can see some record low temperatures or near record low temperatures across Indiana, back into Ohio, as well as into Virginia, portions of the Northeast, and all the way down to the deep south. You're still getting near record low temperatures with that jet stream buckling all the way down into Florida. Now, one of the reasons we're looking at some of the teleconnections of what's happening, this is your PNA, your Pacific North American. You can definitely see it's predominantly positive. When it's positive, it basically brings that ridge out west, and the colder air funnels in into the central and eastern 2/3, and it stays predominantly positive. This is December the 2nd, really for the rest of the week, and it doesn't really go negative until we go into next week, and we'll make that transition. I'll show you at the end of the video, basically, as we get towards the middle part of December, we could be looking at a pretty impressive, massive dip in the PNA again, where the pattern just kind of flips to the opposite. But nonetheless, we're staying cold across the central and eastern 2/3 really for the rest of the week. So if you look at the temperature anomalies, later on this afternoon, you got the ridge building up in Alaska. You've got warmer anomalies building into British Columbia, back into the West Coast, much of the desert Southwest, and then the colder air with the northwest flow coming out of Canada keeps those colder anomalies alive and keeps the snow that's falling into the Great Lakes alive as well. And I don't think that's stopping. So one thing that's going to change on Tuesday, we're still going to have the northwest flow, but notice further south, we have a little bit of a warm sector. We'll be watching that jet stream. This is the southern branch of the jet stream. There is going to be a disturbance coming out of the southwest, and that's going to be traversing across this jet stream, and it's going to bring some much needed moisture back into play for areas of the southern plains, especially those areas into South Texas, getting into Louisiana, back into Arkansas, and eventually into Mississippi. But for as far as snowfall totals, like additional snowfall totals just over the next 24 to 30 hours, yeah, some of these could still add up to 6 to a foot to 18 inches, maxing out to possibly another 2 feet in some isolated spots. I know Lake Erie likely gets creamed again with more heavy snow. Erie, Pennsylvania. So man, some of these areas are just going to be bringing some pretty impressive snowfall, and they're breaking daily records, every step of the way. So as we go into, say Thursday time frame, here's what we're going to look at. So you got the Wednesday, Thursday transition of the southern branch of the jet stream. So it's trying to bring some of that warmer air back towards the south and the southeast, but it's going to be fighting that northern branch all the way. So it's going to bring some of that moisture back into play off that disturbance, but it's going to be traversing across this boundary. So it's only going to be able to lift so far north. I think Oklahoma predominantly missing out on any precipitation and even portions of North Texas will as well. A lot of the precipitation is going to be in South Texas, and that will be riding to the southern side of this jet stream into Arkansas, Louisiana, and especially into the areas of Mississippi. And you can see the disturbance moving through. This likely brings some cloud cover back into those areas on Tuesday night, but especially back into Wednesday. So we'll have that colder air coming down from the north with the northern jet stream, and the southern jet stream will keep the warmer temperatures alive. And in that warm sector, you're going to be able to ring out a little bit higher precipitation totals, especially further south and southeast of Texas, a little bit lighter amounts as you get into North Texas, and then even just very isolated amounts as you head into southern Oklahoma. But this likely spreads into Arkansas following that jet stream, while north, you're going to be looking at some more snow with another reinforcing, even colder shot of air that's coming in from the northwest. So this is likely going to be Wednesday night up here into southern Canada here, back into the Dakotas again, dropping those temperatures. In fact, some of these areas even go below zero as far as feels like. You're definitely going to feel this one in a big way as we get into that December 5th timeframe on Thursday. As you wake up, yeah, we're going to be looking at some below zero feels like temperatures in Minnesota, into Iowa, essentially into Wisconsin, and even Chicago for the first time this year. It's going to feel below zero up there as the chillier air will still funneling in from the northwest down to the southeast, bringing those chill factor all the way down into the Tennessee Valley. And that just continues with more snow coming in. So there's going to be another system, another clipper system that will be coming in off that northwest flow, reinforcing shot of colder air, and then reinforcing shot of snow along its wake. So we're going to be adding to those totals into Michigan, northern areas of Ohio, back into Pennsylvania, into New York again. A lot of the same areas of getting the lake effect snow now. We'll get a reinforcing shot. Likely some wind direction is going to be a change. Instead of the southwest, it's likely to be coming from the northwest. So the trajectory is going to change. But yes, you know, the gradients are going to be pretty extreme. I know. Pretty impressive, this lake effect snow. Like the city of Buffalo, for example, really hasn't seen much of anything, but you go literally 10 miles south and Orchard Park seeing 27 inches. So that's the gradient with this lake effect snow that we're dealing with, and it's all about wind direction. So wind direction is key with this lake effect snow. So as we head into your Thursday morning, there's the colder shot of air continuing to come in with the wraparound moisture on the backside. Now we're getting back into those areas into West Virginia, back into Pennsylvania. You'll start to share some of that snow for your areas further into the coastal regions like Massachusetts, into Connecticut. You should see some transition over to that snow as we head into that Wednesday night, Thursday morning time frame as that disturbance moves into the south. So it's likely going to keep most of the precipitation on the southern branch of that southern jet stream, and then the north of there fairly dry with that northwest flow outside of the Great Lakes into the Ohio Valley and much of the Northeast. So much under that more ridging of high pressure stays on the drier side and definitely stays on the warmer side if you live out into the Pacific Northwest, much of the West Coast, much of the Four Corners regions, much of the Intermountain West regions will likely stay on that warmer side. And there, as you can see it a little bit better on Thursday afternoon with that ridge continuing to be alive and well and that reinforcing shop. Now we're bringing the kind of the deep purples back into play, into Ohio, back into Kentucky, as well as into West Virginia. And that will also sneak back down into the southeast and head likely back into Florida, even again with that reinforcing shot. So here are some of the high temperatures. These aren't lows. These are actually high temperatures as you stay in the 20s all day long on Thursday with that reinforcing shot of colder air back into Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky. This is 25 degrees as a high temperature on Thursday. Ohio will stay in the 20s. Anywhere you see these red shaded areas, you're likely going to be staying in the 20s for highs all day long. So the temperature doesn't go anywhere. And then at night, as continuing that northwest flow, those hard freezes will dip all the way down into Mississippi, into Alabama, back into Georgia, into the Carolinas, as much as North Carolina. And then even the panhandle of Florida will likely get another freeze, as well as into Louisiana. So that's going to be another reinforcing shot of colder air, with the temps of teens further north back into Michigan, and some of these areas could even drop below zero for low temperatures Friday morning. So, but another system that's coming through. So the Clipper systems and the colder air continues for the east, and that comes with another system on Saturday. This is Saturday, December the 7th now, as another disturbance will be coming on off that northwest flow, bringing more snow showers across New England. And then, of course, further south, well, yes, we'll have another disturbance that's coming in from the southwest, bringing some more rain back in the picture for those areas back into Texas, likely a little bit further north than what they're going to be seeing on Wednesday on your heading into your Saturday. But overall, the big picture on Saturday kind of looks like this. Eventually, that ridge will be building out west and eventually sneaking into the central U.S. So it's going to take all week long, but by the time we get into late Saturday, finally that ridge, that warmer air is going to win out for much of the central U.S. while it presses the colder air continuing into the Northeast as well as into New England, with that P&A still predominantly remaining on the more positive side and not until really next week. So the transition day is likely on Sunday. So Sunday, you're still having the colder shot of air for much of the Southeast, much of the East Coast, much of New England, while the ridging starts to build out west and continues to push and press that colder air more east as we get into next week. And so as we head into next week, we're going to be seeing that ridge come back into play. So not as cold out east for this is be next week. This is your December 9th going into that middle part of December. So you're still likely to remain on the colder side, but definitely not as cold as what you're going to be seeing this week, because predominantly that ridge of high pressure out west will be inching every step of the way towards the central part of the U.S. and eventually start to overcome those areas across the Ohio Valley and knock some of those, well below average temperatures back down to average, and start creeping back up to above average temperatures as we get deeper into that second week of December. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch me next update. Wire protect you before and after the storm.